Hello and welcome everyone. This is Donna Gray, your Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Scenic Rim in Queensland, coming to you live with part 7 of my 12 days of Christmas. I am so enjoying crafting with you and bringing you this 12-day Christmas series. So it has been so much fun. I love Christmas crafting. Type it in the comments. Give me a I love it in the comments if you are someone that loves Christmas crafting, because I know for myself, I'm a Christmas junkie. I absolutely love Christmas time. I think it's the best time of the year to craft. So, and I think it actually wasn't Christmas when I first started getting into Stampin' Up, but I definitely love Christmas time every year. As soon as the Christmas catalog comes out, I absolutely love the Christmas catalog. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to buy things out of it. And it is definitely the best time of the year to craft. Hey, Daryl, lovely to see you. Jill, good morning. Bree, Pat, lovely to see you all the way from California. I love California. I spent a fair bit of time in California when I was over there this year, and I absolutely loved it. Whereabouts, Pat, are you from in California? I know you're saying Northern California, but what are you near? I did the Grand Canyon. We went right through to the Yosemites. We did Route 66. We were out in the I can't think of what the desert's called, but we were seeing Joshua trees and we were traveling through the desert, and we ended up in San Francisco. So are you near any of those places, Pat? Hey, Colleen, Margaret, lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. So Leslie, hello. So we are here for another awesome session of Christmas crafting. I'm going to show you a few tips today as well, because I'm going to be using the white craft ink. So if you haven't used Sacramento, okay, the capital, fair enough, okay. If you haven't used the white ink, I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks to do with the white ink, and I'm actually going to show you how to re-ink a white ink pad when you get it, because I know a lot of people say to me, I've got the white ink pad, how do I re-ink it? How do I actually put the ink in it? So I've actually got a brand new craft ink pad today with my ink refill that I'm ready, and I'm going to show you how to re-ink it, and I'm going to show you how we can actually use it to craft with today, and show you what type of thing that we can do with it. So hopefully you're going to enjoy that. So while everyone's jumping in, I'll just go through a few things that I have happening. My 2-day Christmas craft retreat is closing really soon, so the registrations are closing soon. If you are interested in getting the 2-day craft retreat as a retreat in a box, or if you're even interested in attending in person, I will be closing registrations middle of next week. So if you are interested, we're going to be using the Modern Christmas Suite. We're going to be making 8 projects. You're going to get the stamp and die set. You're going to get the designer series paper. You are going to get the twine, the embellishments, gold rings, cardstock to create 8 beautiful projects. So we're going to be doing card making. We're also going to be doing, creating an ornament. We're going to be creating a few different things. So it is going to be an absolutely awesome retreat. And here's the Crafty Cat. The Crafty Cat has entered the craft room, as you can see. So Theo has decided to grace us with his presence. He's got a brand new collar on, everyone. So he's looking very smart and dressed up these days. We had to give him a new collar because his bell fell off his collar. And you know, you have a white ink pad and you haven't re-inked it, Daryl. Well, this is the video for you. You are going to love it. So yeah, Theo had a collar and his bell fell off his collar, and I love hearing that bell. I love knowing that he's around. I love hearing that bell. I love when you're looking for him that you call out his name and you can hear ding, 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 so you know he's around. So I was really missing the fact that he had his bell missing off his collar. So I bought him a brand new collar, and it's very hard to get the type of collars that I like. So I went searching everywhere. I finally found one. Where did I find one? I think in a cheap store. I think I ended up finding it in a cheap store. I couldn't buy it in the pet store, couldn't buy it in Kmart or anything like that, but I think I found it in a cheap store. I think that's where I ended up getting it. I can't remember. But he's got a brand new collar and he's looking pretty swish. So he's looking like he's all dressed up. That's what we were saying last night. He looks like he's all dressed up. All right, let's get into crafting. Just one more thing. We have an awesome joining offer that is happening right at this very moment. I'm going to put the QR code up there, but I'm also going to put the big graphic up that I have as well. We have 2 joining offers. We have, can I move that? No, I can't move that. Can I, what's it got there? Replace, hide. I wonder, can I, oh, there we go. We'll put it behind. There you go. You can scan the QR code there over on there. We have this awesome joining offer at the moment. So for $60, you can get $235 worth of product, or for $169, you can choose $344 worth of product. Plus, we have 30% off kits today. Today's the last day for the kit sale, so you can make up so much in your starter kit. So now is definitely the best time to join Stampin' Up. And I don't know when we're going to have another offer, or whether we're ever going to have an offer as good as what this one is. So if you've been sitting on the fence and you've been thinking that you might want to enjoy a discount and be a part of a crafty community, you may want to think about joining my team, because it is absolutely definitely the best time to join. Now, let me see if I can go back to where that was. Okay, I don't know what it was doing in the background there, but it was putting me small in the background. But anyway, you can scan the QR code there on the screen, or you can actually use the link that's down in the description of the video. But super, super awesome deal. All ages welcome. All genders are welcome. Like, honestly, it is definitely just an awesome deal. I can't say it any better than that. Just that it's an awesome deal, and you would be crazy not to do it. So we have 30% off kits. So as I said, anything that's on sale can be put in the starter kit. Anything that's on the last chance products can be put in the starter kit. So really, in all honesty, for $60, like, you can get $235 worth of product, or for $169 get the $344. So whatever is the best for you. If you've got a big shopping list, go for the $169. If you've got a small shopping list, go for the $60 one. So simple as that. I can see quite a few of you jumping on, so I'm super excited that you're here crafting with me today. So please feel free to share this so that we can get more people to come and hang out with us and craft with us today. But let's get into crafting, because that is what we're here for. Okay, so I have my uninked ink pad, and I'm going to be using the Merriest Trees today. So the Merriest Trees is an older stamp set that we've had around for a while, but I wanted to show you a really awesome thing that we can do with this tree with the white ink. So that was what started this whole process of what I was doing. So of course, when you get your white ink pad, it comes uninked. Okay, uninked. No ink in that ink pad whatsoever. Nothing. Okay. And you get a re-inker. So I'm just going to show you. Now, the white ink is a sticky ink. It's a thick, sticky ink. So this is going to take a little bit of muscle power. And it's also going to take a little bit of patience to be able to get it to do what we want it to do. So I've shaken up my white refill. And now I'm just going to drizzle that white refill all over that foam ink pad. You're going to see when I go to massage it in how it is so thick and sticky and gluggy to try and massage in. So I'm going to go, I went one way, I'm going to go back the other way so that we get a fair bit of that ink sitting on top. As you can see, it doesn't look like it's going to soak in, but it will once we massage it. Okay, so we're just drizzling backwards and forwards and making a cute little pattern all the way around. Okay, now what I tend to do is you can either get a metal spoon or a bone folder or something, and we're actually going to massage in, but we're going to wipe off the bone folder after we're finished to get it to go off our bone folder. So what we've got to do is massage it into that foam pad. So you're just rubbing your bone folder over, getting it to go out to the edges so that we're getting it all over. And we're just going to massage it into that foam pad. And gradually what happens is when you massage, it'll gradually start to soak in and sink down into that foam pad. When you get it to sink down in, then we're going to drizzle it again, and we're going to get more in there again. So it is thick. As I said, it's a thick, gluggy ink. So it can get a tad messy. All right. So we've got that to more or less soak in. You can see there it's soaking in. So now we're going to go again. We're actually going to drizzle some more on the ink pad. Now people say to me, how much of this ink do we use? We're going to do this until it looks like it's soaking in and covering the ink pad. And you can see, because the ink pad's a different color to the white, like the ink pad's sort of like a creamy color. So you can see that now the foam pad is starting to go white looking. So I've drizzled again that way. So far I've used maybe a third of the ink pad, of the refill. And I'm going to massage again. We're going to massage it to get it to go in again. And this is a different type of ink to our normal inks. This is, I think they call it a pigment ink. So it's a little bit different to our ink. And I'm going to try something today. I don't know whether it's going to work. I'm going to try something today with embossing and see if it works with embossing over the top using some. And I'm going to go again. So I went that way. This time I'm going to go this way. So we're squeezing again and we're drizzling that ink into our ink pad. So who has one of these ink pads and hasn't tried it because they're not quite sure how to re-ink it? Type it in the comments and let me know. I know Daryl said he's got one and he hasn't re-inked his because he was probably thinking, I'm not quite sure how to do it. So now I'm showing him exactly how to do it. Who has one of these ink pads but you haven't inked it up yet? Okay. So I'm just going to massage again until it goes into there. Now I'm going to stop probably at this. So far I've done, how many have I done? 4 goes or 3 goes. I'm going to stop at this because it's probably going to be enough for what I need to do today. But if you find that when you go to use it, it feels a little bit dry, add a little bit more. Okay, so normally what I do is I grab a baby wipe and I will wipe that white ink off my bone folder like so. Okay, so we now have a white craft ink pad. You have one, you only used it once years ago. Now, I want to tell you about the white craft ink. It is not as good, like if you want to stamp sentiments and stuff, you're going to get a chalky look. You're not going to get a really good, nice ink look. Now, I'm going to shut that up because I'm going to go ahead and start to create the card first before I need to use that ink pad. All right, so first of all, I've got some basic white thick that I'm going to cut a card base. Okay, so there. Now, I know a lot of people say to me, you know, what size are the measurements of your card? What you need to remember, and this is what we're trying to teach people in the basic foundations of card making, you need to remember just to use your card base size. So whatever your card base size is, cut your card base. And then I'm actually going to cut a layer for the front, which I'm going to do here. And then I'm going to cut a focal point for the front as well. So we're going to do that. Okay. And I need some regular basic white to go over the top. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a smaller, I'm going to see how big the tree is and work out how big the tree stamp is and work out how large I'm going to do that piece. And this is typically how I do it. I'm going to work out with this tree. I'm going to sit it on my trimmer. I'm going to sit it like that. Okay, so it tells me that I definitely need to have probably my piece about 3.5 inches wide. I could probably do 3.25 inches. I could probably get away with 3.25, which I might. I'll do 3.25, but it's coming down here to like 4 inches. So I'm going to do 3.25 by 4 inches is going to be my basic white piece. 3.25. So let's do 3.25. Yeah, 3.25. I did 3 3/4. I need 3.25, but anyway, by 4 inches. So let's do 4 inches. I did that the wrong size. It should be 3.25. Okay, now I'm going to sit my tree on that. I think the tree is going to sit quite nicely. I can just get that to fit on that. Okay, so that's actually how I work out that bit. Now I also want a white piece to go in underneath, so I'm going to do my regular white layer that's going to go on top of my old olive layer. And then we're going to cut a piece of old olive. So we're going to put this in under here, like so. And then I want a piece of old olive that's going to back onto that piece. So we did that by 3 1/4. So let's do 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. I think that's going to give me the right amount. Like that and like that. And we have a layer that's going to mount on top like that. So that's it. There's my layers. You know how to do it. You weren't game enough to do it. Yep. And now you are. See, I've just showed you how to do it. So you'll be all good to go. All right. I'm going to mount this large Stamp Up on this block. I'm going to grab a second block and mount up the detailed stamp that goes with this on the second block. Okay. So we've got our 2 stamps mounted, ready to go. Now this is the piece that I want to first of all stamp with my old olive. So I'm going to ink up this step. Now, this is a big solid stamp. So to get a really nice inked up look, you need to make sure that your stamp is really well inked. So and I like to ink it this way so I can see that it's really well inked. Can you see there that it's definitely well inked? And I'm using a pierce mat. And the reason why I'm using the pierce mat is to get a really nice, good stamped image. So I'm just going to line that up in the middle of that piece of cardstock and we're going to stamp it down. And when you've got a nice solid stamp like this, definitely push in the middle of your stamp. Make sure that you've got good contact all the way over so that you're going to get a really nice, good stamped image. So we're going to hold our breath and hope to God. It's not bad. Absolutely not bad. We've got a couple of little white splotches, but it's okay because we're going to put a detailed bit over the top. So the detailed piece over the top is going to mask out any of those pieces that are like that. Now, I'm going to use my white craft ink for this, and I think I'm going to try cleaning this this stamp a little bit because it looks like it's got a little bit of residue from something that has been used ages ago with it. So I'm just going to clean it up a little bit, make sure that it's nice and good and clean. And I also like to, when I'm doing something like that, I like to probably stamp it down on like a scrap piece of paper or something to make sure that we have got all over. Can you see that? Can you see that? See how dirty that looks? So I'm just going to take a scrap piece of white and keep stamping and stamping and making sure that it's nice and clean before we put it in our white ink. Okay. So we've got the white ink out here. I'm also going to bring out my heat tool because this pigment ink takes a while for it to dry, but I'm going to bring my heat tool out and I'm also going to bring out my white embossing powder. Okay, so I want this to look, I want it to look fairly white. So I decided I'm going to try this. I haven't tried it before, but I'm going to try and see if it works. My thought process is I'm going to sprinkle the white embossing powder over the top and get it to really, so I'm now going to take my embossing buddy. Now, the reason why I'm doing my embossing buddy over the top there is because we've just inked that up with ink. If I put any embossing powder over the top without the embossing buddy, the ink is going to, the embossing powder is going to stick to the ink. So I didn't want that to happen. So I've gone over it with my embossing buddy to make sure that it's not going to have the embossing powder stick to something that we don't want it to do. So I'm now going to ink up this detailed piece over the top. And I'm going to stamp that over the top of this Christmas tree, and we're going to get like a snowy look over our tree. So I'm just going to stamp that down, and we're going to get a really nice white snowy look. Okay, I'm going to lift it up. So can you see how it gives you that chalky look? So it's not a definite white. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to sprinkle my white embossing powder over it, and I'm going to see if it sticks to it and see if we can emboss over the top of this white craft ink. So I've got that. I'm going to shake it off, and it looks like the embossing powder has stuck to it a bit. We'll see. And then we will heat it with our heat tool and see what happens. There we go. And it's giving us that nice white embossed look. So it's adding a little bit more depth to the white. So if you've got a white ink pad and you think, I don't know whether I want to use it or not, the heat embossing over the top, using the embossing powder over the top, just gives it a little bit more depth to your white, and takes that chalky look away. But if you want the chalky look, then by all means, just use it without the embossing. But definitely make sure you hit it with your heat gun to make it dry. Okay, so just a little tip. Now you can see here we've got some nice white embossed look, and I don't know whether I can get it that you can see the shine on it, but there we go. It's got some nice shiny white embossed look. So let's move that out of the way. Now, when it comes to the cleanup, I would not put this in my Stampin' Scrub. I would use a nice baby wipe and wipe it to get rid of the white ink on there as much as you can, and then possibly wash it under the tap. Just run it under the tap and get some water on it to make sure that you get the white out of all the crevices of your ink, of your stamp. Okay, so we've cleaned it up a fair bit and it looks okay. All right, so we've got that. I'm now going to mount that up on my old olive. Now you can see here when you heat emboss, can you see how it curls? Now the reason why I always heat from underneath is to make sure that it curls down and under, because then when I go to stick that onto my layer, it's going to stick down nice and flat. When you heat from the top, it will curl up and your corners will curl up, and then you'll have a hard time trying to get it to sit nicely down onto your layer. And I also do tend to like to use some Seal Plus when I have done heat embossing to make sure that it sticks really, really well onto that layer that I'm putting it on. I'm probably going to have a really fun time trying to line it up, because you know me, I like my wiggle room with my liquid glue, but we are going to try and really line this up and make sure that it sits nicely on that layer. Let's hope we get it right. That's looking quite good. There, like that. Okay. And when we press it down, it's perfect on our flat layer. Okay. Now, I also think what I want to do is just add a little bit of difference in behind here. So I'm going to take the cute little ornaments out of this stamp set. And I'm going to mount those up. And with my old olive ink, I'm just going to stamp some cute little ornaments just around on this white piece that we have here. So just randomly stamping them to give me some nice little ornaments in the background that's going to be in behind. The layer is going to take up most of the room on the front here, so we're probably not going to see much of these, but I just like to have something that's a little bit interesting in behind our layer to give us that little bit of interest. And then of course it's going to go on here. You're not going to see a lot of them, but it's given us something. I might just do a couple down here, little more, a few more down here, and maybe some up through that top like that and like that. and possibly like that. And that way we will see more of them. And that looks pretty cute. Don't think we really need any on the side. The sides are nearly going to get covered up. So we've just got ornaments up the top and down the bottom. All right, so let's get rid of that. And I'll close up my ink. Oh, okay. Let's get that out of the way. And I've just moved my mouse and disappeared the screen. Hopefully I haven't done anything to the volume like I did the other day. All right, so let's now, I will use my glue. I don't know whether this one's going to have anything in it. I've got a brand new glue here that I'm probably going to open to get it to come out, because these glues are definitely on their last legs. But a little bit's coming out, so we might have enough to do it. We do. Okay, so we're going to mount that one up onto our Old Olive contrast layer, like so. Okay, so we've got our beautiful snowy tree. We've got our great contrast layer here. I'll fold my card base in half. Now, you all know me. I need something like a bow or something on here, don't I? Do you think? What do you think I could put on here that would give me a little bit of interest in this, on this card? Okay, so I've got that, and then I've got that that's going to go on there. I think I might use some of this gorgeous ribbon, and it's on our last chance product at the moment, and I absolutely, oops, there goes all the ribbons, but it doesn't matter. I absolutely love this gorgeous, it is called Open Weave Trim. I love this because it's really, it's quite, it's not invasive, you know what I mean? Like, you can put it on something and you just barely see it, but it makes the best bows. I'm telling you, it makes the super, super best bows. So I'm going to add that there, and I'm going to wrap it around here, and I'm going to do that. Doesn't that just look at that? Isn't that gorgeous? Just to see just that gorgeous. How would it go with clear? You could use clear over the top as well, but clear is probably going to give you more of that. It'll still give you that chalky look, Daryl. So because it's not going to add any more white to it. So it's still going to give you that chalk effect. If you just use clear, it's just going to add shine to it. Where using the white embossing is, it gives it a little bit more oomph to the white. So, I mean, or you could just use Versamark and use your white embossing. It's as simple as that. But I just wanted to show how you could actually use the white chalk ink, the white, it's called Whisper White ink, how you could actually use it and still use your embossing powders with it as well. All right, so I'm now going to pop this up, and look at that. I've used a whole sheet of dimensionals. I love it when I do that. Okay, so let's pop that there. Let's get out the next part. So this is part 7 of my 12 days of Christmas. So if you've missed 1 through to 6, please make sure after you finish watching this video, you go back and start at episode 1, because we've had some pretty awesome Christmas crafting so far in our 12 days of Christmas. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to use my Take a Pick tool to remove the backings. That one's already got it off. I'm going to remove, so I'm just physically poking my pokey tool, my Take a Pick tool into that backing, and then being able to, you twist as you pull it up, and it pulls off the backing sheet off your dimensionals. And even when you've got a long one like that. And then you can collect them all on your Take a Pick tool and throw them in the garbage bin so they don't end up all over your house. All right. Now we've got to get the ornaments up the right way. And I like to stand up to do this to actually get it lined up exactly where I want it on my card. So we're going to line it up there. I can't believe how many people we have had taking me up on that join offer. Like, I mean, so far, I think in our Wild Heart Crafters, we have 16 new team members in our Wild Heart Crafters. So lots and lots of people are taking us up on that starter kit offer. So if you've been thinking about it, you don't want to miss out on it, and you don't want to leave your run too late, get that $60 or the $169 deal and pop some of these things into your starter kit, and you can get into your Christmas crafting straight away as soon as your starter kit arrives. And if you're brand new to crafting, you can fill your starter kit up with kits. Like we have all-inclusive kits that come with little ink spots. They come with clear blocks. It's a great, perfect way to get started with your crafting. Now I'm going to put that over to the side a little bit because I want to put a bow. Whoops-a-daisy. I want to put a bow on this card, and I want to actually stick my bow here on the side. So I wanted to put it over. I keep getting it crooked. Let me lift that up again and move it. I don't know why it keeps going crooked on there. There we go. Okay, so we've got that happening there. I want to do a sentiment. Let's do hoping your home is filled with the spirit of the season. I think that sounds quite good. So let's do that. Let's grab a piece of basic white, a strip, and we will get our sentiment out of here. Ink that up with my old olive, which is here. Okay, so we're going to ink that. Now, because it is a photopolymer stamp, I'm going to bring in my Pierce mat once again and stamp that sentiment down here. Now, I'm going to stamp it down the bottom because I'm going to trim it back with my handy dandy little baby trimmer. So we've got hoping your home is filled with the spirit of the season. Okay. Now, I'm going to cut it at an angle, but I just want to cut it off a little bit first. We'll do that. And then we will cut it down so it's a little bit not as thick. So let's cut it to there. Yep, that looks good. Okay, and then I like to angle it with my scissors. I'm just going to angle it on this one end because then I can actually pop it coming in from the side, and it just gives you a really good fun aspect to your sentiment. So we'll grab some dimensionals and we'll pop that up onto 2 dimensionals. Now we've got this cute stamp in here that you can stamp a sentiment and it goes like the shape of a tree, which I wanted to show you how to do that on the inside. You wish Stampin' Up would bring back the trimmer. Everyone says it. Hey, Deb, how you going? Lovely to see you joining. Everyone says that about the little baby trimmer. I use mine all the time. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So my sentiment's coming in across there. Let's stamp on the inside because I want to show you how to do this cute little, it says, we wish you a Merry Christmas. I think it's so stinking cute. So let's do that. And there it is there. It's got like a little tree stump that we can add to it as well. So let's do that. Let's grab our little tiny block. So this is like the little tree stump. And I'm going to stamp this in the middle of that there. So let's go that. Let's go, we wish you a Merry Christmas. Let's bring in my Pierce mat again. Make sure we get a good stamped image. So we wish you a Merry Christmas, stamped there. And then we're going to bring in, I'm just going to do crumb cake, I think. Have I got crumb cake here? No, that's basic beige. Oh, my crumb cake's not in here. Let's have to do pecan pie. I didn't really want to do pecan pie, but we're going to have to. Pecan pie. And make it look like a Christmas tree. There you go. A cute little Christmas tree on the inside. Okay, let's add our bow. Now, I love this mesh trim to create a gorgeous bow. It is so cute to actually tie a bow with. You can squish it up to get your bow to look nice and bunched up, or you can fluff out your loops in your bow and get it to look really plump and thick as well. So so much you can do with this mesh trim. Okay, so we can plump it out by just pulling that out and plumping out our loop like so and like so, and you get a much more plump little bow. Can you see that? So cute. And I'm just going to put the bow right there on the side. So let's grab a glue dot, which is in here. I might actually have it going a little bit to the side. Let's grab our glue dot and let's just do that. Oh, how cute is that? All right. Now, of course, we need a bit of bling on the Christmas tree. Do we want red bling on the Christmas tree, or do we want gold? Do we want red or gold? Type it into the comments, red or gold bling for our Christmas tree. Deb, what time is it for you there? It's always late when you watch me. Hey, Maggie. Janelle saying gold. Gold bling or red bling or green bling. Okay, Janelle saying gold, Leslie saying gold, Jill saying gold, Margaret saying gold, Glenda saying gold. So everyone's saying gold. Looks like gold is it. All right, let's do the little ones. Let's do some cute little bling on our Christmas tree. So we're going to do one there, one down here. Oh, my putty has been too strong and sticky today. One there, one there, one here, and of course one here. And we might just pop a couple just randomly around. Let's do one up there and a little one. Oh, my putty is being very strong today. Another little one there, and maybe a little one just down there. And of course, a spritzing of our Wink of Stella will just make this card so much better. Let's grab out our Wink. Oh, Maggie said red. Sorry, Maggie. Everyone said gold. All right, so let's just spritz a bit of Wink over the front and a little bit on the inside. And we have a gorgeous, sparkly Christmas card. Oh, thanks, Beck. Beck said she has to go, but another great card. So there you go. Another awesome, fun project in our 12 days of Christmas. So project number 7. I can't believe we've got 5 more to go. Can you believe that we're way past halfway already? So we've got 5 more to go, and we will have our 12 days of Christmas. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. If you're watching the replay, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give me the thumbs up if you love what I did, and tell me, how many Christmas cards will you be making for this festive season? Have you started your Christmas cards yet, or are you just trying to get your idea, your creative juices flowing? Hopefully this 12 days of Christmas is helping you with working out your creative ideas for your festive Christmas cards. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me, and I will be live again tomorrow with another awesome, fun Christmas project. We will be later tomorrow because I have a bit of business training and things to do in the morning. So we will be a little bit later tomorrow. So thanks, everyone. I will see you all again tomorrow.